Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Sphumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. Now remember that if you want to be a part of this technology conversation, then find us on SABC Network. That's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Please use the hashtag SABC Network as well. We are on News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Here's what's coming up in the program. About some of the Product of the Year tech winners. They include home appliances, a TV set and a phone. We give you just a snippet of how augmented and virtual reality are starting to be used in food. And TEDx Johannesburg Salon is hacking the farm. To tell us about the theme for these upcoming talks is one of the organizers, Kelo Bubu. Hello and thank you very much for joining us.
Hi Sphumelele, thanks for hosting me.
What's hacking the farm?
I think you host the technology show, so you would know that technology is changing virtually all aspects of life. And farming is no different.
All right, so we'll talk a bit more later about that later in the program. Stay with us. Now, South African consumers have chosen some of what they think are the most innovative brands that they use. Those recognized as the best in innovation will be identified in shops with the voted Product of the Year logo. They were announced in a glitzy event in Johannesburg recently. Consumers have had their say and they've chosen the brands they feel are their products of the year in various categories.
We have this tyranny of choice where South African consumers have so much of choice in the market. We're just helping them navigate through it by showing them which is the best innovation.
In the home appliances category, Hisense fridges were picked by South Africans.
It's actually an amazing feeling. We're very, very excited. We feel very privileged and honored for this award. And it's really an amazing fridge and it's like so worth it.
Samsung received quite a lot of negative publicity with their Note 7. It seems they've bounced back as South African consumers chose the Galaxy S8 Plus as their favorite smartphone device.
You know, it's no secret our Note 7 was a bit of a challenge product for us, but I think, that's why we like this award. It means something. It's a consumer vote. It's a large audience, and they're kind of going out there saying, this is the product that we put our trust in. This is the product that we aspire towards, and we're backing your product.
LG's OLED TV was another big winner.
Because it comes from the consumers, these are the people that use our products. OLED is a special technology. It's the only TV with OLED technology in South Africa. It's got its own in terms of backlights, so you can switch each pixel off. So that TV to us creates what we call the perfect black.
Philips was also one of the winners.
We won tonight in the cooking appliances category for the Philips TurboStar air fryer. It is a very innovative product in the sense that it will cook, grill, roast, fry and bake using 80% less fat than normal cooking methods.
The Product of the Year logo will now appear on some of the products in the shops. We often associate augmented and virtual reality with gaming and film. It is now being used in food as well.
Over the past few years, virtual and augmented reality technology has increased beyond the gaming world and has established a home in retail, advertising, and as of late, the food industry. According to experts, these technologies are ready to make their mark in the South African market and could be game changers.
It allows brands to augment the experience that their customers have of their brands, right? And whatever kind of communication it is that they engage around their products or services with their customers.
This week, the Goethe Institute launched Imagination Nights to enable startups to create engaging augmented reality applications to assist local brands with their marketing campaigns.
Imagination Nights, it's a new format that we're running here at the Goethe Institute. It's all about having creative startups, entrepreneurs, interesting people who are running digital projects speak about what they do. So these are all young entrepreneurs who are working at the hub at Goethe.
Startups based at the Institute are now driving the augmented reality marketing movement by assisting organizations and brands with their augmented reality offerings.
We're targeting that kind of sector, and also any kind of brands who are looking for technologically enabled solutions to their problems.
It will allow brands to actually communicate a bit easier with the consumers or the customers, because now you've got an option that you do not need to go and pay probably a lot of money for you to provide a specific content to your customers, maybe with a big TV channel, but now through an application you can have them engage with your brand.
They say the beauty of augmented reality for brands is that it can turn the device in people's hands into an interactive platform which bridges the online and the offline worlds.
It's an app that actually allows you to have a better experience in terms of how do you view the food that you're actually ordering, and you actually view it in a 3D environment. So you use your phone to scan onto any logos, any restaurant logos, and if we've got there on our database, then you actually be able to go through the menu.
With the new and innovative augmented reality capabilities on the horizon, local business and brands have a fitting moment to get a head start on what promises to be a transformative computing technology.
The minibus taxi industry is often seen as rigid, but the taxi industry could be undergoing a tech facelift. The After Robots application is one that aims at bringing this particular industry into the digital revolution.
Johannesburg's Breed taxi rank was its usual busy self on Wednesday, February 21st. However, this time it was not only due to the peak hour when commuters take the taxi to get home after a long working day, but also because the After Robot taxi app was going live on the day.
After Robot is actually a suite of applications. So what we were doing is, you've got, you have your queue marshals, your taxi drivers, your owners, the patrollers. So when we did that, we were using, working on one user group. And now over time, we've been refining the product, adding one more user group. So now we're at the level where we are ready to engage the commuters. And which is why now, the solution is available on the Play Store.
Originally started in 2013, this event was to launch the commuters version of the app.
From a commuter's perspective, this is what we're saying, is that ever since this industry was formed back in the 40s, you as a commuter have not had one thing. You've had an inability to plan your journey. And that's because you've never actually beforehand been able to tell anybody who could do something about it, where you're going to be standing at a particular point in time, where you're going to go, where you're going to get off. And what we are saying to the commuters is, you've had to buffer your time. You've had to leave super early to do these things. Now what we're saying is, buffer your intention. Use After Robot and the association to tell the taxi drivers, tell the queue marshals where you are going to be standing at a particular point in time, so that then the service can be available to you.
So you've just entered a very complex industry. Tell me, how is the engagement between you, the creators of this app, and taxi owners and just the industry at large?
Okay, it's like with any new invention, right? Or anything new. There is a challenge in terms of getting adoption. So this is not really particular just to the minibus industry, let's say, right? But anything of value that has been created has always been a bit of a challenge to get it in the market. So I will say yes, when we started, because, it's a new concept, you're bringing, you're talking about new things. So people just, not that they don't want to hear about the idea, but they want to understand, So you kind of have to have that patience to explain to people over and over again until they're comfortable.
Applications like After Robot aim at getting the industry to participate in this fourth industrial revolution.
TEDx Johannesburg Salon is taking place soon. We'll talk about that after the break with Gelo Gubu. Stay with us.
fitting into your thin pants. Mowing the lawn without mowing the cable. When your washing machine gives you all your socks back.
With so many good deals at the Tops at Spa Surfest, you'll find any reason to celebrate. Buy a bottle of Russian Bear triple distilled vodka and 2 Power Play energy drinks for only $119.99. Only at the Tops at Spa Surfest.
A warm welcome to one of your favorite weekly review analysis programs, Media Monitor. So let's look at the race itself.
It's just becoming a personality contest where people just want somebody to guard their own vested interest. And I feel that the country is at a point now where we need some sort of change.
It is ANC policy that they will have to implement.
We fairly know the direction the ANC wants to take. As a leader, you have to implement.
So what was it like on the ground in Kenya?
Well, the country is divided. The country is very divided.
I think within the country, for me, the one person that I criticize severely, and I'm not very happy with his approach, is Raila Odinga, with him pulling out.
Stay tuned to Media Monitor and catch on analysts unpacking top stories every Sunday from 9 a.m.
Welcome back. It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Now, TEDx Johannesburg is hacking the farm on the 1st of March. It's one of the smaller TEDx events known as the TEDx Johannesburg Salon. It's taking place in Johannesburg's new technology precinct, Timologong. Joining me in studio to talk a bit more about this is one of the organizers of TEDx Johannesburg, Galoku. Hello, and thank you very much for being a part of our network.
Thank you.
How are we hacking this farm?
I think a lot of us, especially if you live in Johannesburg, you don't really know much about what happens on a farm. And we all eat every day, if you like enough, 3 times a day. But we hardly take time to really look at where does this food come from, how is it produced, what impact does it have on my life. And as we move into, a future that is driven by technology, we thought this is a perfect opportunity to really spend a day and find out what happens on a farm and how is technology impacting farming.
TED Talks themselves, these are now prestigious talks that happen all over the world. So let's talk about your selection for this particular event that's taking place.
Okay. I think, yes, TED Talks are now a phenomenon globally, and South Africa is no different. But what we do for our events is that we look at a topic, we look at an industry, and we find people who are really working at the cutting edge of that field. For this particular conference, we looked at various things because agriculture in South Africa is very complicated. There's everything from food security to land to children dying of hunger to technologies coming in that could displace people and take away jobs. So we really tried to go broad and wide, and our speaker selection is not just made of people living in Johannesburg. We've invited speakers from the US, from Germany, from the Netherlands, from Nigeria, from Uganda, because I think we can learn a lot from what other countries are doing.
You talk about food insecurity, and a lot of parts of Africa are food insecure. What are you getting from here? Is technology going to solve this problem?
I think technology will play a big role, but the problem, at least now, in the past 24 hours, I've kind of come to the conclusion that technology is not going to solve the problem. The problem is somewhere else. The world produces more food than people on the planet, but for some reason, people still go to bed hungry. The challenge is getting the right policies and getting people, especially on the African continent, to realize that food is a right, not a privilege, and we're treating food like it's a privilege. Things like water, access to education, those are treated as fundamental human rights. But for some reason, in South Africa, you have 15 million people going to bed hungry. And you have down the road a place like Sandton, which is dubbed as the richest square mile on the continent. So technology will play a role in changing how we farm and changing how food gets distributed. But even with today's technology, we should still be able to, put a plate on everyone's table. What I'm excited about is to see how we can actually take these technologies and give them to more people so that more people can get into farming. Because at the moment, if you look at a country like South Africa, agriculture is very skewed.
Yeah.
You have a small community of people who run big agri, and you have a huge portion of people who live in this country who do not even have access to means of farming. So that I think is the conversation.
Kelo, what are you getting from traditional farmers who are already in the industry? Are they open to these new technologies?
Look, big agri in South Africa is already using these technologies. Your average maize or wheat farm actually uses tractors that are self-driving. Precision farming is a thing. You have in parts of the Western Cape where you have drones that are already picking food produce. People are using drones and people are using satellite technologies to map all sorts of things. But you go to
sounds exciting.
A village just outside Brits, and small-scale farmers don't have access to old tractors that still use diesel, and you need someone to drive it. So the gap is huge. We have a situation where our best agri competes with the best in the world, and our worst agri is like, just, forget about it.
So how did you then select the speakers that are at TEDx Johannesburg Salon?
I have to confess, Big Agri didn't come to the party. At least that's where something went wrong there.
Yeah.
So we do not have at this conference an example of what South Africa has to show in terms of big agriculture.
Yeah.
But we do have examples from the Netherlands, which is, thanks to the Netherlands embassy here, has given really a great support to the conference to say, as a country that is at the forefront of agri, they will lend their knowledge and skills transfer, because it is important for all of us to have access to this technology.
All right.
We have a lot of researchers and a lot of professors, both from WITS and from UJ, who are doing a lot of work in policy work to shift how we look at agriculture.
All right. So it is taking place on the 1st of March?
Yes, at Simologong, which is a new digital precinct in Braamfontein. The tickets are 750 rands. You can find them on our website.
To listen to some of the best speakers in the farming industry.
Yes.
All right, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that is Kelo Kubu. She's one of the organizers of TEDx Johannesburg Salon that is taking place on the 1st of March at Simologong in Johannesburg. Now, this week we caught up with Lesedi FM presenter Twasa. She told us what her favorite piece of technology is.
Hi, my name is Twasa, and this right here, my iPhone, is my favorite piece of technology. Why? First of all, it goes wherever I go. Secondly, I get to do business on it, whether it's sending quotes, invoices, receiving and responding to emails, and my favorite apps, chats, and social media. So this is how I keep in touch with y'all on @TwasaGirl, @real_Twasa Instagram, and Twasa Online on Facebook. So yeah, this right here is the whole office on wheels, baby.
News at 9 We go beyond the headlines of the day's breaking news to bring you all the angles and in-depth analysis of stories. We go beyond the surface, including on how it will impact your life. Join us every day at 9 to zoom in on the day's big stories.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. You can also use the hashtag SABC Network. Now, a humanoid robot aims to stand up for women's rights, and a group of researchers got to experience living in Mars. These are some of the top tech stories that made headlines in the last week.
The world's first humanoid robot, Sophia, said on February 20th that she would like to use her Saudi Arabian citizenship to speak out on the rights of women.
Don't need different rules and don't expect special privileges. I actually would like to use my citizenship status to speak out for the rights of women.
Sophia's creator David Hansen said humans won't be able to survive without the help of robots and artificial intelligence.
We need ethical machines. We need to get smarter, because without becoming smarter, without intelligent machines and also augmenting human intelligence, we are going to destroy this planet. We are not going to survive the next 100 years.
Last year, Sophia was unveiled at a technology conference in Saudi capital Riyadh. Now heading over to Japan. The country's telecommunications company NTT is hoping to bring an added dimension to the 2020 Tokyo Olympics by projecting live sporting events with its 3D hologram technology.
From all four directions, you can see players projected in the field moving in 3D. You can see that in the demos we've unveiled this week. For example, the judo, karate or figure skating demo.
Many of the visitors to the exhibition were impressed, though some said they needed to work on reconstructing the backgrounds and environment of the games. Now in Israel. A team of 6 Israeli researchers ended a Mars habitat experiment in a mock-up build in Israel's Negev desert, where they simulated living conditions on the red planet.
Mars is kind of a unique enterprise. It's an enterprise composed almost completely of volunteers. It's designed to provide a space where you can have analog missions, which are missions that simulate conditions that exist on Mars in order for us to test either new approaches, new procedures, or new technologies that can potentially be used on Mars.
The D-Mars project was being held in Israel for the first time in cooperation with the Israeli Space Agency. It is one of a number of Mars simulations projects taking place worldwide.
All right, so this week our Twitter poll is asking you if you know what augmented and virtual reality are. Now, 28% of respondents say yes. That figure is in second place. The overwhelming majority of respondents say no, they don't know what it is. That's 51% of respondents. So maybe we must tell you more about that here on Network. In last place is 21% of the people who say they don't know much about it. And that's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. From me and the rest of the Network team, have a good one. Bye-bye.